This week on Music Worth Buying, we're going to be checking out Magnifique by Ratatat.
And still got that hunger from the zombies.
Hello, welcome to Music Worth Buying. My name is TJR. I am a musician and a music writer.
And my name is Robert Kinsler, and I'm a music writer and a musician.
And so we have each got a release that we have want to talk about, that we've discovered, that we're excited about, and want to recommend to you. And so I'm going to start off the show today with the album entitled Magnifique by the band Ratatat. Now, this is my introduction to Ratatat's music, is this particular album here. I should mention this is an album completely of instrumental music. There is no vocals. And a while back, you had brought in an album, Hard Rock Candy Funk Party.
Yeah.
Which
The
had
Joe
Joe
Bonamassa,
Bonamassa on guitar,
exactly.
which was mostly entirely instrumental.
Yeah.
And I commented on how, we don't hear enough instrumental in rock and pop anymore. It
Yeah.
seems to have just gone away. And I remember growing up, there was a time when you did hear instrumentals on the radio, in pop rock radio. You could hear a song like Frankenstein by the Edgar Winter Group as a top 10 hit.
Or Pipeline or something like that.
Exactly, Pipeline. You heard instrumental songs on the radio, on contemporary pop radio, which you don't hear anymore. It's just gone away.
Yeah.
And when you brought that in, I said, it's a shame we don't hear that more. So I'm really excited to be bringing in this album here, by Ratatat, which is all instrumental. Now, a little bit about this band. Now, this is their fifth album. The band is Mike Stroud, who plays guitar, melodica, synthesizers, and percussion, and producer Evan West, who plays bass, synthesizers, and percussion. Now, there is, to me, a very understated quality to these instrumentals. Usually, if I have heard anything instrumental over recent years, it's all very guitar-oriented, and it's all very much, guitarists like, say, an Yngwie Malmsteen, and I'm not dissing Yngwie Malmsteen. He's put out some great work, but it's all about flashiness. It's all about technical virtuosity. These songs are very understated. They're not about technical virtuosity so much as just here's a nice melody, here's a nice groove. Here is just a cool song that makes you think of driving down the highway, at 65 miles an hour, and just enjoying, the nice sunny day as you're driving down. Here's a song that just makes you feel like you're in some kind of spacey groove vibe type of thing, And these are all very enjoyable instrumental tracks. And so, enough of me talking about it. Let's let you hear a little something. Here we go. And that track was called Cream on Chrome. A lot of 70s influence, disco influence going on with this. But also, I feel like, of course, guitar tone-wise, this guy has got Brian May's guitar tone nailed down. It is very Brian May-esque guitars. There is a lot of versatility from track to track here. I don't think anything really quite sums up what their sound is like. The influences range from classical, and when I say classical, I don't mean classic rock, I mean classical music, to funky, like I think we hear with this one here, even very disco-y sounding, this particular track here, 70s disco sound, to electronic, to ethereal, and also just downright goofy. I feel the main thing I hear is that the music is not taking itself too seriously. The musicianship is all very good, but it's not taking itself too seriously. It's not afraid to be.
It's not self-indulgent too. It's very nuanced, and yet it immediately draws you in. This is my first time hearing it. I've heard. It's funny. I've heard about them. Never heard them till today. I'm very blown away by what I just heard. But I think you're spot on. It's like it's interesting, but it's it's involving, but you want to hear what they're doing, but it's not over the top like like some of the stuff you were talking about earlier.
Not self-indulgent. I think you're right. And there are people, and once again, there are people who do the self-indulgent thing extremely well.
Yeah,
Yes
very.
has done it very well.
Yeah.
Yes has done that very well.
Yeah.
And Ingve Malmsteen has done that very well as well. But yeah, it's nice to hear it. Has lots of negative space, has room to breathe, and it's not about how many notes you can play within one measure or how fast you can play those notes. It's just it's just really nice, and I like its effortlessness. I like its subtleness. It sometimes will change gears midway through a track as far as what genre it's going for. And so now, packaging wise, this album comes in just a very simple mini vinyl gatefold. You've got the cover here. Whoops, there went the CD.
Yeah. At least our studio's carpeted,
At
right?
least our studio's carpeted here, yeah. But the cover from the front continues here on the interior. There is no booklet or anything, unfortunately, that tells you anything about the recordings or about who does what where or anything else. Just the track listing on the back, and that's really it. The CD, of course, immediately is so exciting that it actually flies out of the case when you open it up.
That's cool.
It has that great feature. The CD just flies out when you open it up.
It was born to be a Frisbee.
Yeah, so when you open up the CD, be ready. Just be ready there to catch it as it comes out.
There you go.
Just be aware of that. Yes, and that is, of course, one of the many reasons why I really feel that with these types of packaging, they really need to come out, give us a little. As long as they're going to imitate the mini vinyl gate, the vinyl gatefold packaging, they need to give us a little sleeve as well.
Yeah, there you
just
go.
to kind of hold the CD in.
Yeah.
But there we go. And so, but yeah, I like the artwork. I just wish there had been a little more information. Of course, there can't be lyrics, but I wish a little bit more information would have been nice. But other than that, a lot of really great music. And so we're going to check out another track. This is called Cold Fingers. Here we go. And that was Cold Fingers from, once again, Magnifique by Ratatat. And I like I said, once again, you could hear it kind of with that song. I don't know how much we get to play for the audience here watching, but you could hear them kind of switching genres midway through. But it really has that whole Brian May signature guitar sound just nailed. I've never heard anyone else really do that before.
Yeah.
Just really nailed it down.
Yeah,
but also
it's
midway through,
amazing.
he changes guitar tones and suddenly goes for a much more aggressive approach as well. Yeah, there's just a cool kind of weirdness to it that I really enjoy.
I think that's a good way. Yeah.
And it just like I said, it's not taking itself too seriously, which I also enjoy as well. So I really do. I haven't really had a chance to check out much of their previous stuff here. I've heard some fans actually kind of, and some critics actually diss this particular album, preferring their earlier work to it. So I'm curious to know what the differences are.
Yeah.
But I personally really enjoyed this album, and I hope you will too.
Yeah. Well,
So what have you got for us?
Well, actually, now as we're taping this episode today, we're about a month out from the release of the Zombies' next album. I was fortunate enough I've heard it, and I'm so excited by the album. It's called Still Got That Hunger. I was so excited when I heard it that I say, you know what, I have to talk about it, even though I don't have the cover artwork or anything. They did email that to me. But this continues to kind of celebrate the Zombies' reemergence and just relevance. More than 50 years after they formed in England, the Zombies are still, as far as I'm concerned, making music that equals, if not outdistances, what they were doing back in the 60s. I mean, the band is probably best known for Odyssey and Oracle, which was recorded in 1967. It came out in 68. Now, when that album came out, the band had already pretty much was defunct.
Yeah,
and the album didn't do really great upon its release, but over time, it's been hailed and heralded as one of the best albums of the 60s, and many prominent musicians cite it as one, like their top favorite album, right up there with Sgt. Pepper's or Pet Sounds, and it's an amazing album. The Zombies now, I don't know exactly when they reformed, but I want to say, it's been a few years because they came out with their last album, Breathe Out, Breathe In, about 4 years ago. But the band is just still to be frank, just killing it. I mean, Colin Blunstone, the singer, sounds as amazing now as he did in the 60s, which is crazy with that beautiful tenor that he has, that he hasn't lost a step. And Rod Argent, the keyboardist, is just phenomenal. He ranks up there with Ray Manzarek as one of the greatest keyboardists of the rock era, especially to come out of the 60s. And this new album that they have out, Still Got That Hunger, continues to it harkens to the past, but then it's very much in the here and now. They kind of go back and forth from things that go, are they talking about what it was like then, or are they talking about kind of like how hopeful, and driven they are to just continue to move forward. It kind of interweaves all those things. So let's listen to a little bit of the first song on there. It's called Moving On, an apt title of the song.
Sure.
Here, Moving On. Let's listen to a little bit of that and then talk more about the album.
I'm curious.
April moon, can you tell me where I'm bound? I'm moving on from this place of confusion. It's goodbye to trouble I'm leaving behind.
I will say that's impressive. That is some very impressive musicianship. That feels like it's coming out of the late 70s era of rock music, but very unpretentiously. It sounds very unpretentiously late 70s era. Just that level of tight musicianship, strong musicianship, not in your face, glaringly in your face, but definitely extremely seasoned and professional sounding, and a very cool track.
Yeah,
a very good track. Yes.
And the thing about the Zombies here, kind of like as was the Adventuresome Spirit in the 60s, on this album you're going to get Baroque pop, which they're kind of known for with the keyboards. You're going to get jazz. You're going to get blues. You're going to get a little bit of psychedelic rock. And they mix it all together and it all sounds like the Zombies, and it just kind of, so many bands have to just do one thing. The Zombies don't really have to do that because, and I think the rediscovery of them happened primarily, I think, when they toured back, and I want to say, and I think it's written back in '08, the original lineup, 4 of the 5 members were still alive. They toured and did Odyssey and Oracle in England. And actually they're going to, as we'll record this, they have an upcoming tour here, and for the first time the original band, the 4 of the 5 members, is going to be touring here in the United States, playing that album in its entirety. And then the new lineup, which includes Jim Rodford, and people might know that name. He was in the Kinks for many years as their bass player. It includes his son, who's a drummer, Steve Rodford, and then also guitarist Tom Toomey, and hopefully I pronounced his name right, joining singer Colin Blunstone and keyboardist Rod Argent, who I said. This is a very impressive album. I know we're going to hear a little bit of another song, but it is, and it's not just impressive because it's like, oh yeah, here's these classic rock giants that have come back and they're doing a new album of music. I mean, the Beach Boys have done that, the Rolling Stones have done that from time to time, but this is really, really strong music and equals some of their great songs, I think, that they did back in the 60s.
This is tremendously solid playing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just tremendously solid.
Yeah.
From what I've heard off this one track.
And they're great. And, and I don't remember if I recounted this when I did the review on our last episode where I talked about Breathe Out, Breathe In. But when I saw the band a few years ago, the majority of the audience, they were in their 20s.
Huh.
I was shocked. I go, but like I said, I don't know if it's because they're called the Zombies and zombies are all over the television now or something, but people genuinely loved them and stuff, and they have had this kind of like, people are like all of a sudden like, these guys are fantastic, and I keep saying that, but it's really deserved in the case here in this album. I can't wait for the rest of the world to hear it because it's a great album.
Yeah, for a long time, I mean, I'd heard of the Zombies. I knew, Time of the Season, of course, the single, but really didn't know much about them. And it was some years back when I discovered the very album you're discussing, that album, Odyssey and the Oracle, which I had discovered finally, heard, and was blown away, and thought, wow, this is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Why haven't more people talked about this album? And on our old channel, we talked about Lost Classics, and I brought up that album and talked about it. And to my surprise, of course, you knew about it already.
Yeah. But you're right, and there is actually what I brought here, and we're not talking about it specifically, but when the band did the 40th anniversary reunion tour of the surviving members, they actually put that out on a DVD. I think it's also out on CD, but you can get the DVD and watch them perform it, or you can go in person and catch them you
Yeah.
know, in the fall in the United States, and catch them when they actually do it in person, which I'm really hoping to get to do, because I couldn't be more excited that they're back in a big way. You know,
We can't talk about packaging because it's not
Yeah.
out yet as
Yeah,
we're taping this.
yeah.
But let's hear something else.
Yeah,
I'm
so
curious.
I mentioned Broke Pop. I think this next song, Chasing the Past, definitely kind of captures that spirit of what the Zombies did and are still doing so well. So let's listen to a little bit of Chasing the Past.
Sure, okay, cool.
I would rather be than here. No case for chasing the past. Yesterday is gone. It's just as well. Now we'll take tomorrow and give it hell.
You know, and when they're saying chasing the past, you know, if you really listen to the song, at least my interpretation, it's like, you know, the past is gone. Rather than chase the past, there's no place I'd rather be than here and now, and we're going to do music that's important to us today, and kind of taking the band forward. It could be about a relationship, I guess it could be about anything, but the way I hear it, obviously I'm hearing the Zombies, is like the Zombies are not content to you know, just do greatest hits. I mean, if you see them in concert, they're going to do their big hit, sure.
Yeah.
You know, but when you see them live, they're going to say, hey, we have some strong musical and lyrical things we want to say in the here and now, and we're going to do that. And like I said, I just think Still Got That Hunger, it's a very apt title for the album, and I think some of the songs that you're hearing on this album are just great, terrific.
Yeah, I like the fact that with this particular song, how it was opening with the piano first, I was feeling like it was going to go in one direction, and then before we get to the chorus, suddenly it takes me someplace completely different than I didn't expect, just melodically and musically. It goes into some areas. There's even some slight jazz influences that suddenly come in the midst of this opening kind of classical piano part, and then moves into a different direction.
And it's neat how they bring that, like you're saying, it starts with kind of like that, like a Baroque piano part or something, but later on, you know, Rod Argent's doing this great, you know, organ, you know, and the band's really picking it up, and it's not forced, it's not artificial, it's all authentic, and I think who they are as musicians and as a band, it's really wonderful. And I think now that they have had this resurgence, they're probably, life as a band is just as long now, if not longer, than it was during that initial run from '62 until '68 when they broke up. You know, so it's like they are running on all cylinders here.
Yeah,
you know?
it's great to hear musicians, veterans like this, not going on just the nostalgia thing and just replaying the old hits, but still coming up with relevant music, especially when you're making a comeback, so to speak.
Yeah.
The general philosophy is just to simply, well, let's just get back together and just do our hits.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, that's all we're going to do.
Yeah, and I couldn't be more thrilled by this. I mean, it's you know, it's like you're used to this kind of thing from Neil Young, where he says, "Hey, I'm going to
He's just gonna keep going.
Yeah, he's going to keep going, and it's great that the Zombies have adopted that too.
Yeah.
Obviously here, and especially based on the strength of their last album, and especially this album, I think.
It's sad for me sometimes when I see bands that are still making new albums, but then when you go see them live, all they're playing is their radio hits and nothing from the new album,
Yeah.
maybe one song.
Yeah.
And I've seen that before. I'm not going to name names here,
Yeah.
but I've seen great classic bands do that, and I'm just very disappointed by that they won't challenge their audience at all in any way, shape, or form. They're just sticking with the radio. They're playing to the crowd that's more interested in making beer runs,
Right, exactly.
than
Like
they
we
are
talked
to
about,
the crowd
yeah.
that wants to, that went out and bought the new album
Yeah.
and want to hear them do some of it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
and from what you've described, it sounds like the Zombies are not doing that.
You know, because a lot of times, and I know this is what we came to talk about, but like you see a younger band, and they'll say, "Hey, we're going to do a new song," and the crowd cheers. I want to see when the Zombies say, "Hey, we're going to play something off our new album, Still Got That Hunger," and I have a good feeling that a lot of the audience will cheer them on.
You're looking forward to that album coming out then.
Yeah.
Okay. So we want to thank you very much for watching,
Thank
and
you.
we hope you'll be checking out some of the music that we brought in. Hopefully, you know, of course, by the time this airs, I assume that Zombies album will either be out or close to coming
Oh
out.
yeah, it's out on October 9th.
Okay, all right. And of course, Ratatat's Magnifique is already available. And so please show your support by purchasing the music legally or by streaming it on legal services. And so until next time, I'm TJR. Check me out at tjrmusic.com. Join my email list. I'll send you a link for some free MP3s. I have my own YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/TJRTheOriginal. Please join me there and subscribe there as well. And of course, Robert, there's a number of places where we can read your work.
Yeah, you sure can. At musicworthbuying.com. musicnewsnashville.com, ocregister.com, and at desertstarweekly.com. That'll get you started.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. Okay, so thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing the show with your friends. And we'll see you next time.
See you later, everybody.
Bye.